Hey everyone, this is Glenn Greenwald, and I wanted to give you a quick update on what's happening at our Substack platform, and also the announcement that I alluded to in the last video I did, and in part because I know I haven't written much or done much reporting over the last 7 to 10 days, and so just wanted to fill you in on what's happening. Part of what has happened is just the fact that I'm extremely poor at scheduling or taking vacations, and occasionally my brain imposes one on me by just refusing to do much writing. But in this particular, I think that's part of what's going on. But in this particular case as well, I've been working very hard over the last 2 weeks on putting together this new project that I referenced in the last video that I am genuinely extremely excited about in terms of the potential and impact I think it can have. Our current schedule is to announce everything and explain everything and then debut everything and unveil everything on Monday, this coming Monday. It may change by a day or two depending on whether we're able to get all our ducks in a row and in time for Monday, but that's the current plan. And so I just wanted to let you know that that's a major reason why I've been a little quiet on this platform. But also to give you a few more details on why I'm so excited about it. I can't yet announce the specifics of it, but in essence, and this is essentially for my subscribers only, so I can share some details, we've been able to put together a very ample funding package that will enable not just me, but numerous other voices in journalism and politics and culture that I regard as some of the most interesting and independent-minded and important voices, people who are doing real independent work in journalism and commentary and analysis, to have a bigger impact in terms of the work that they and I do. As I had mentioned, part of this includes expanding significantly the journalism and content we're able to produce to not just video, but to a highly professionalized form of video that I think will enable us to do a lot of really interesting and important journalism and reach a lot of people who currently we can't reach simply by publishing text or doing kind of more amateurish YouTube type videos of the kind that I'm doing right this minute. And I think the more important cause is the fact that, as all of you know, given that you subscribe to the work that I do, I've done a lot of reporting over the last several years, but the last year in particular, as it's gotten much worse, about the increasing levels of repression and censorship on the part of big tech monopolies in conjunction with really the liberal sector of the corporate media and the establishment wing of the Democratic Party, increasingly to control and limit and constrict our political discourse. And as I've come to do that work, what I've realized is that simply revealing it, describing it, reporting on it, denouncing it is insufficient. There needs to be some effort, especially on the part of people who do have platforms, to work against that. And I've given a lot of thought to how that can be done. And one of the experiences I had that most informed that thinking is my move to Substack, which happened in, as you may recall, late October of 2020. And at the time that I moved to Substack, I really didn't know all that much about Substack because I made the decision to quit The Intercept very precipitously in a very short period of time without much planning once I realized that they were not going to publish the article I believe should have been published about the Hunter Biden documents and what it revealed about the ethical questions surrounding then presidential front-running candidate Joe Biden. I knew I couldn't stay there even for 1 second, knowing that I was part of a news outlet that was going to censor reporting in order to manipulate the outcome of the election. And so when I quit very suddenly, I just needed a place to go write. I needed to go write about what happened, to explain to my readership why I was leaving, and also to continue to do reporting. And Substack was an obvious choice because I knew other writers who had been at Substack, including Matt Taibbi and Andrew Sullivan, both of whom have built a large audience and were having an impact and felt positive about the platform. But I didn't know much about it. I didn't come to Substack as a cause. I came simply because I needed a platform. And then once I got here at Substack, I began speaking a lot more to the founders of Substack, to the people who are running Substack, who are planning its future, and came to understand that their commitment to creating a free speech zone on the internet where journalists can come and other content creators can come and be free of the repression and censorship that big tech monopolies are increasingly imposing is not just a branding exercise. It's not a superficial commitment that's going to crumble, I don't believe, at the slightest sign of pressure from outside. It's something embedded into the DNA of what Substack is and into the belief system of those who founded it, those who are running it, those who are funding it. It's a project that's designed to give a platform to journalists, but also to take a stand in defense of free speech. And that's why I, over time, became not just a user of Substack, but a defender of it, because that's what we need, are platforms that can make an impact and be heard and develop a real audience that will protect not just my right and the right of people who see things the way I see things, but the right of everybody to freely express themselves so that the discourse is free. And it's the audience and the public that decides what they're going to believe after hearing conflicting opinions and perspectives and reporting, as opposed to having it imposed from on high by tech executives who are trying to appease the politically powerful faction or avoid scorn doled out by corporate media outlets. And so Substack has become an important platform for me, not just because it enables me to do my work, but also because I believe in what it stands for. And there are other platforms like it, thankfully, that are increasing in their prominence. And so as somebody who has the ability to bring attention to those kind of platforms, not just by talking about them, but by working with them, I've been thinking about the necessity to do that, to start to use the platforms that are actually devoted to free speech and free discourse and move away from the platforms that don't. And so there's a video platform in particular that I believe is similar to Substack in its mission and in its cause. It's becoming increasingly influential and increasing its ability to enable people there to be heard, and I'm excited by it. And so I've spent several months putting together a project that will enable numerous people who aren't currently there to go there, with the intention of enabling people to earn a living who are doing genuinely heterodox, critically minded, independent reporting and analysis, who don't have to fear the scorn and wrath of corporate media, don't have to be captive to their pieties and orthodoxies. It's so important to empower that in spaces where people can be truly free and independent. It's not, as I said, going to in any way replace what I already do at Substack. All it's going to do is supplement and expand it. The funding will enable me to do more, to work with more people, to produce more content, to produce different kind of content. As I already said, everyone who subscribes to my Substack already will have full and free access to everything else that I'm able to do there. But it's a really exciting project because it will just further empower people who want to liberate themselves from the constraints of big tech, of liberal corporate media, and of the necessity to constrain and censor and repress themselves in order to make a living. So that's the real reason, in addition to the fact that I think my brain just needed a little vacation that I refused to give it, why I haven't done much writing over the last 7 to 10 days. Starting on Monday, we're going to announce it. Everything's going to return to normal. I'm incredibly excited to get back to work, especially given this new project that's going to, I think, really synthesize and strengthen everything we've been able to do for the last 9 months here at the Substack. So that's the update. Just stay tuned for a few more days. I definitely have a lot of work to do between now and the time that we unveil it, but we're very close to its completion, and you'll hear about it very shortly. Thanks so much for your patience, and as always, thanks so much for subscribing here. It really is not just important to my being able to do the work I do, but also very gratifying. So thanks as always, and I will be speaking to you very shortly.